The information we're going to explain in this video, my friend and follower, is among the most dangerous economic information. Information we do not learn in schools or universities. The concept we'll explain in this video will teach you how to build your wealth from your current income, my friend and follower. This is an explanation of the second lesson from the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by the truly wonderful author Robert Kiyosaki. In this video, your coffee, my friend and follower, needs to be ready, or whatever drink you like, and I want you to savor it while watching this episode. Let's enjoy. Peace be upon you and God's mercy. Welcome, my friend and follower, to the Book Summary channel, where there is coffee, music, and a book. The idea of the channel is that I read a book and give you its benefit. So if you'd like to get the benefit of reading without actually reading, subscribe to the channel. The concepts I'm about to explain to you now are very important concepts. These concepts will make you see money in a different way. For example, when any amount of money enters your account, it's not just an amount that comes in and an amount that goes out. No. There are more details to it. When money comes into your account, it has a name and a source. And when it leaves your account, it also has a name and a destination. To keep things short, I'm going to explain 4 financial terms to you. It's very important that you know each one of them and know how to control it, and this is the core of the second lesson. Of course, the second lesson is essentially a statement, the same kind of statement as the first lesson. The first lesson was, the rich don't work for money, money works for them. And the second lesson tells you, the rich buy assets, while the poor and the middle class buy liabilities. So what's the difference between assets and liabilities? That's exactly what I was talking about, and that's exactly what I'm going to explain. 4 financial terms, my friend and follower. The first 2 terms are income and assets. Income is any amount of money that comes to you. It is your financial gateway, my friend and follower. Any amount, salary, university allowance, profits from a business, stock profits, aid, theft, embezzlement, any income at all. That is income. Assets. Robert Kiyosaki says that for the poor and the middle class, assets are possessions like the house, the car, the farm, the mobile phone, anything you own. He says this is the definition of assets for the poor and the middle class. But for the rich, this is not correct. He tells you that the rich define assets as anything you own that gives you income. Are you with me, my friend and follower? Something you own that gives you income. If it doesn't give you income, then it is not considered an asset. And if you want examples of these assets, stocks, when you own shares held in the bank and they give you profits every quarter, these stocks are considered an asset. Another example is real estate. Not the property you live in, no, but the property you rent out and that brings you money. This is considered an asset. Intellectual property, such as books you write and sell, or YouTube videos you create and upload to YouTube that keep bringing you money. These, my friend and follower, are simple examples of assets that we are talking about. So if the first 2 terms are income and assets, focus with me on assets. Hey, my friend and follower, don't forget. The second 2 terms are expenses and liabilities. Expenses are any amounts of money that go out of you for food, drinks, clothing, outings, entertainment, travel, and so on. These are expenses, your daily living, let's say. Liabilities, my friend and follower, are any amounts that you are obligated to pay, whether weekly, monthly, or yearly. The important thing is that you are always committed to paying this amount. Examples of liabilities include loans, house rent, car installment payments, PlayStation Plus and Netflix subscriptions, electricity bills, water bills, and routine maintenance for the house and the car, and others. These are liabilities. So what is the dangerous secret, my friend and follower, in these 4 terms? It is that the poor and the middle class deal with these terms differently from the rich. Let me explain the difference between them. First, the poor. The poor have income. This income usually comes from a salary, donations, or government assistance. And most of the time, the poor do not have assets that generate income. And also, in many cases, they do not have liabilities, but they do have expenses. So income comes in and goes straight to expenses. The middle class, my friend and follower, are not far from them. They have income as well, and their source of income usually comes from a salary. And unfortunately, they also do not have assets that generate income. This income that comes from the salary goes straight into liabilities and expenses. So the middle class and the poor are always living under pressure, always living just to get by. The income that comes in goes to expenses and liabilities, and when the end of the month arrives, usually nothing remains of this income except scraps. These are the poor and the middle class. And this is the meaning of the first part of the second lesson's statement. The poor and the middle class buy liabilities. As for the rich, they also have income, just like the poor and the middle class. But the dangerous difference, my friend and follower, is that this income comes from assets. They have assets that generate income, and their assets are their primary and most important source of income. They may have a salary just like you, but they do not rely on their salary at all. They rely on their assets and their businesses. My friend and follower, their monthly income comes from assets, from companies, stocks, bonds, real estate, and intellectual property. This is where the income of the rich comes from, my friend and follower. And they also have expenses, and they also have liabilities. But the thing that is different with the rich, Robert Kiyosaki says that before a rich person pays his liabilities or his expenses, he takes a portion of the income and puts it into assets. After that, he pays his liabilities, and whatever remains, he lives on it for his expenses. For example, if he has a monthly income of 10,000, by the way, example, my friend and follower, just an example. Who even has 10,000 reals? My dear, focus on the example. I'm giving you an example, and the Arabs used to say in the past, the one who argues about the example is foolish, my friend and follower. So if, for instance, he has a monthly income of 10,000, the moment the 10,000 comes in, he takes 3,000 from it and puts it into an asset account or an investment account. Call it whatever you like. And after that, he goes and looks at the liabilities he has, bills and others, and pays them. Whatever money remains, he lives on it as expenses. This behavior, my friend and follower, over a period of time, according to the farm theory, makes it so that instead of 10,000 coming in from his salary, for example, he has assets he invested in that start bringing in 1,000, for example. Then over time, these assets grow and start bringing in 3,000 or 4,000. And this continues, my friend and follower. Every time income comes in, the first thing he does is deposit into assets. His assets keep growing and growing and growing until they begin to become the biggest, most important, and primary source of income. So instead of only a 10,000 salary coming in, he ends up having assets and businesses that bring in 20 or 30,000. Look, my friend and follower, let me give you a live and realistic example. Have you seen the kids who have gaming channels on YouTube with around 2 million subscribers, 3 million subscribers, or more? God bless them. May God increase them from his vast bounty. Honestly, I admire them. They make 4 or 5 times, if not 10 times, your monthly salary, assuming your monthly salary is 10,000. This kid who plays PlayStation is making 50,000 a month. You say I'm exaggerating? Okay, I'm exaggerating. Their accounts are there on YouTube. Some of them have talked about their monthly income and even showed screenshots of the amounts coming in from YouTube, with followers behind them because, mashallah, they are proud of this, and I really like that. And by the way, this type of video is considered, just like I told you, intellectual property, and it is considered an asset. Look, to put it simply, very simply, I already defined assets for you earlier. Anything that brings you money is an asset. End of story. This is the fundamental difference, my friend and follower, between the poor, the middle class, and the rich. The rich dad said it very clearly. The poor and the middle class buy liabilities. Man, the moment someone gets a job and receives a salary, he runs straight to the bank and takes out a loan. Great, you took a loan. Where are you taking that loan, my dear? I'll buy myself a new car. Welcome, my dear. Or, I'll go buy a PlayStation 5. Or, I'll buy an iPhone 17. Or, I'll travel to such and such country. Or, I'll buy clothes from such and such brands. Any amount of money that comes in, he immediately thinks about how to spend it. By God, my friend and follower, this talk is real, and it's infuriating. When I read this, I said to myself, by God, it's true, it's true. Any amount of money that comes to me, I immediately start looking. Honestly, I was planning to buy a watch, and I was planning to buy a ring, and that particular perfume, oh my God. Fine, think. Take just 10% of it, just 10%, and put it aside. Say, I'll play around with this. I'll see if I can buy something and sell it. No, impossible. I only think about satisfying my desires: food, drink, clothes, devices, and so on. Ah, my friend and follower, every time I remember that I took out a loan and bought a car with it, I regret it. Even though I like the car, by God, I regret it. And I don't regret the car itself, nor do I regret the loan I took. I regret my way of thinking. Truly, any income that comes to me, I think about how to buy liabilities and expenses with it. But the rich buy assets. The moment income comes to them, they think about how to buy an asset with it. This is the great difference, my friend and follower, between the rich and the poor and the way they think and deal with money. Imagine this, my friend and follower. While I was reading this book, Robert Kiyosaki mentioned a story that happened to him with his wife. He says, I made a deal that was good, and I received a decent amount of money from it. I said, I'll treat my wife to a Mercedes. It's something she's been wanting. My wife, my beloved, I'll gift her a car. He says the price of the car was a bit high, a Mercedes. Then he says, I remembered the words of my rich dad, which were always present in my mind. Hey, Robert, the poor and the middle class buy liabilities, and among them is the car. The rich buy assets. So I said, okay, I will buy her the car, but first, with this money, I will buy an asset that brings me income. And from the income that comes to me from this asset, I will save the money again and buy her the car. He says, and indeed, after 4 years, I had gathered the amount from this asset and bought her the car. He says, and the truth is, it wasn't me who bought her the car. I bought the asset, and the asset is the one that bought her the car. He says, and the big difference that happened is that instead of buying her the car immediately, the moment the money came to me, and then sitting there with no money while the entire amount of that money went into the car, no, I bought an asset. I spent 4 years building it, and after that, I bought the car for her. And at the same time, I had income coming from that asset. So the result was that instead of her just having a car, she had a car and I had income. Look, my friend and follower, the rich don't think like that. And what's even more surprising than that, my friend and follower, is that he says, the house you buy is not considered an asset. If you rent it out and it starts bringing you income, then it is an asset. But if you live in it and you're paying electricity bills, water bills, expenses, and maintenance on it, then it is a liability. This is the wealthy mindset. From your current income, my friend and follower, you can make the difference if you think about how to buy assets the moment money comes in. I expect, just like what happened on Instagram, that people will come in the comments and say, we have families, we have obligations. We all have the same things. It's okay. We all have the same struggles. You're not the only one who's suffering. I'm a young man, 27 years old, and for 5 years I've been carrying a household since I was 22 years old, paying house rent, electricity, water, expenses, food, living costs, everything. Marriage? Man, I'm not even able to get married. But I'm not blaming my circumstances. I always think about how to change my situation. I try and fail. And one day, God willing, I will succeed. I need to work hard and keep going, no matter the cost. All of us, my friend and follower, suffer. All of us. Every single one of us. Not just you alone. But the difference is that some of us give in to these liabilities and don't try to change our situation. We start thinking with the poor mindset. No, I can't. No, how can I? The company doesn't give me a salary. I don't have a job. The same thing we mentioned in the first clip. We waste our time blaming circumstances instead of investing our time in thinking about how to change our financial situation. The second type doesn't think about changing their circumstances, they think about changing their position. They try once, twice, 3, 4 times. As Denzel Washington says, if you fall 7 times, stand up 8. Keep trying, trying, trying until you succeed. And we all know that this is true. There are people who tried and tried and tried until they succeeded. Thomas Edison tried 1,000 times with the electric lamp, and today, thanks to God, you use your phone, you use lights, and you're watching me on this screen while walking on paved, illuminated roads. The credit, after God, goes to Thomas Edison, to his countless attempts, and to the fact that he didn't give up until he succeeded and lit the electric lamp. So the second lesson, my friend and follower, the poor and the middle class buy liabilities. The moment income comes in, they think about how to buy things, expenses, liabilities, clothes, and so on. The rich buy assets. The first thing they think about is how to put a portion of their money into assets, develop them, and grow them. Even if, hypothetically, your salary goes 100% toward assets and liabilities, nothing remains. Meaning, there's nothing left for a weekend coffee, or cinema, or a Netflix subscription. So hypothetically, find a way to increase your income. Look for a method, and you will find it. There are millions of ways for money to come to you and for you to build projects without even needing capital. The most important thing, my friend and follower, is don't sit there lamenting your luck and circumstances, blaming people, liabilities, your job, your salary, or blaming your poor family who has no income. Instead of doing that, think about how to grow your assets and make your primary and most important source of income your projects and assets. And there's a very, very beautiful saying by Robert Kiyosaki. Every dollar that exists in your assets is an employee working for you, money working for you. This is the core of the second lesson, my friend and follower. If you benefited from this lesson, please share it and send it to anyone who might benefit. You could be the reason for changing someone's life. And if you liked this video, my friend and follower, kindly give us a like so it reaches more people. And as I told you, if you want to get the benefit of reading without actually reading, you can subscribe to the channel. This concludes today's episode, my friend and follower. I'll see you next week, God willing, with an even better and more powerful dose. Thank you for listening, my friend and follower, and thank you for your priceless time, peace, and God's mercy.